Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Winter Wellness Secrets Zoom number 10. And I'm Dr. Lisa. I'll tell you a little more. I'll tell you a little more about myself in just a minute because I put it in the slides. So let's go. Tony, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking about motion. And not just any motion, we're talking specifically about something called the heart rate zones, and even more specifically, heart rate zone 2. So we're going to talk about it. The title of today is The Beat Goes On, 3 Secrets to Heart Rate Zone 2. We're going to cover secret number 1, mastering your mitochondria. Now, if you were here last week, you know we talked about energy, and we highlighted the mitochondria, and everything works together. Everything fits in together. So we're going to boost our mitochondria even more with the power of heart rate zone 2. Secret number 2, mastering your metabolism. Now, what does that mean? Or what can that do for your body? Well, your metabolism is very much involved in, and again, it's related to your mitochondria, but in this point, we're talking about how well your body can use the energy, can break down the energy, can break down the foods and use the energy. And so to me, this triggers more of the idea of insulin resistance and diabetes issue or blood sugar balance issues. And secret number 3 is maintain your muscle. Well, I don't know if you remember, but when we talked about motion last month, I introduced a word to you called sarcopenia. And that means losing muscle mass. And usually that word is related to aging. So when you maintain your muscle, it helps you to age gracefully and more safely. And heart rate zone 2 can help you do that. And then the bonus secret, of course, we always talk about chronic inflammation and that effect on the entire body. Well, guess what? Staying in heart rate zone 2 helps you to manage your inflammation. And I have my bonus gift at the end. Okay, so let's get started. Actually, here we go. I'm gonna hopefully make my mic a little bit better even. Let's see if this helps. All right. So winter roadblocks. We are on, this is Winter Wellness Secrets. And let me interrupt our programming for a note. This is the last Zoom for Winter Wellness Secrets. Why? Next week, we won't be here because there's a big corporate event. And also, the week after that is March 1st. And guess what? That's going to start spring. But I'm rebranding this whole series starting on March 1st. So I'll give you more information about that later. So we're saying goodbye to winter today, technically, not officially. But we're still in winter, so we still got to talk about these roadblocks. What hinders us during the winter? Shorter days. Now, I am feeling the sunlight. Are you feeling the daylight? Because we just getting about 2 extra minutes a day of sunlight. So I'm welcoming it. I'm loving it. I'm feeling it. So I know that spring is coming, but we may get still a little bit affected by it. New Year's resolutions for 90% of people, they're out the window already, right? Cold weather. Oh yeah, we still got some more cold weather to come, and that does affect our activity. And dehydration, always a problem, but particularly a problem in winter because people forget they still need to hydrate effectively, and we don't get those same key triggers to drink. We don't sweat as much. We're not out in the hot sun, and so in the wintertime, a lot of people get dehydrated, and it shows in their skin and their circulation. So that's bonus tip number 0, right? Stay hydrated in the winter. So I promised you an introduction. I'm Dr. Lisa Singletary. I'm also known as the 100-pound weight loss specialist because I personally lost over 150 pounds now. And I'm sharing with you the techniques that I use and more, but in order to empower my own transformation. And I did that from the inside out. And I used the five M's of total transformation to do that. Mindset, macronutrients, micronutrients. Today we're talking about motion, and we're talking about measurement today too. I am a retired family physician. I have a master's degree in public health, so I consider not just individuals my patients, but entire communities. And well, now with the internet, the world. So step into my room and let's talk. I'm a holistic health educator. This is something I had to learn um, when taking care of my parents. I went home. Uh, oh, so 2006, I was a very heavy girl, but I had the gift of motion. And motion, we're talking about today, is key. 2 years later, though, I went home to get back to the story to take care of my parents. And after taking care of them for 8 years, well, these are the same two people in the picture, but I was in a wheelchair because just to get around the house, I needed my father's wheelchair. Um, and I needed a miracle. Now, when we're in health and wellness, we don't talk about miracles. We don't talk about cures, diseases, although I already mentioned one. But here's the disclaimer. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not giving health advice. I'm not giving cures or um, preventions or, uh, any of those things. I'm just telling you, at this time in my life, I needed a miracle. And I happened to turn 60. And when I did, well, that was 5 years ago now. And I made this chart of my weight through the years. And you can see the yo-yo dieting. You can see right in the middle when I tried a weight loss drug and I got that dip. It was working. I was great. I got a personal trainer. I was going to the gym, and then I had side effects from the drug and stopped it. And it was like that dip never happened, right? I went right back on the trajectory of gaining basically a pound a year. And the research shows that Americans gain 1 to 3 pounds a year, and usually in the winter. But if you see at section B, something happened that changed the trajectory of my life. And that was when I learned how to nourish, hydrate, and detoxify my cells, my body cells, and my what's it called? Microbiome. I'm giving you a lot of M's today. So I got a little M tongue tied there. You'll see I got a lot of M's. But my journey from is still going on, but I'm going to show you how I got from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. Yes, those three pictures are not three different people. In a way they are, but they're all me. So today we're talking about heart rate zone 2, and we're talking about training in heart rate zone 2. Now, what does that all mean? It's a way of oh, it's snowing. Oh, we're still in winter. Okay. It's a way of measuring your heart's effort, because when your heart beats a certain number of beats per minute, well, if that number is low, then your heart's not working as hard. But if that number is high, then your heart is working harder, right? So, um, and there are different ways to find this number. The easiest way now is to just get a heart rate monitor, some kind of monitor, or those rings or chest straps or arm straps. But just to give you a little bit of the science behind it, if we assume that the maximum heart rate is 220 minus your age, right? So that number would be considered your maximum heart rate. And then we can take a percentage of that number to determine what is your target heart rate. And there are 5, and you'll find different things. Some people say 6, some people say 7, but most people I find say that there are 5 zones of heart rate training. Zone 1 is very, very light. And what happens in that zone is you are just recovering maybe from a trip into one of the harder zones, or you're just doing something that you want to. People used to people used to say they're taking their constitutional, right? You're just doing something to maintain overall health. Zone number 2 is light. So you take that number that we found, 220 minus our age, and then multiply it by 60% or 70%. And that is a light walk or a slow treadmill walk. And this is one of the key zones for your health. Now, the different zones, as you can see, do different things. But heart rate zone 2 is a game changer for many people. A little faster on the treadmill, a little more of a brisk walk. We're into heart rate zone 3, which helps our aerobic fitness. Even harder, we're running, but not maximally. And maybe, and when I say running, it could be bike riding, it could be many different activities, but they increase we've increased the intensity, we've increased the percentage of heart rate of your heartbeat towards your maximum. And then this 5th zone, which is the maximum effort, the effect helps your performance. This is a zone where you might have heard of HIIT, or the HIIT, the high intensity interval training. When you sprint maximum out sprints, let's say on the straightway of a track, and then on the round edges of the track, you go back down to heart rate zone 2, or maybe even 1, just to let your body recover from that sprint a little bit. Now we have another meaning for recovery we'll talk about later. But once we know what's happening in these zones, well, I told you there's some secrets in heart rate zone number 2. And secret number 1 is mitochondrial motivation. Zone 2 training stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis. What does that mean? It makes you make more, right? Increasing the number of mitochondria, but it also increases the efficiency of the mitochondria, and that improves your cellular energy production. That means that when you take the food in, your mitochondria are better at turning that food into energy for you to use rather than storing that energy in your cells, in your fat cells, and setting up all kinds of issues. Secret number 2, I love this one, metabolic mastery. So, regular training in heart rate zone 2 helps to manage chronic inflammation. That's really a bonus secret, but it also improves insulin sensitivity. What does that mean? Your health, your health, your longevity, a lot of goodness is tied up in getting your blood sugar under control, getting your insulin resistance under control, getting your hormonal responses to stress under control. And heart rate zone 2 training helps you to do that. Secret number 3, maintaining muscle mass. Now that makes sense, doesn't it? It makes sense that when you're doing regular exercise, you're going to maintain your muscle mass. But as I said in the introduction, there's something called sarcopenia, where with age, our muscle mass declines. And when that happens, that sets up a whole cycle, a vicious cycle of events, including metabolic or cellular events, your mitochondria not working well, your energy production not being the best, and you get weight creep with age. Also, your muscles, when they lose mass, they lose their strength, and so people who are aging start to have problems with balance, um, with and that leads to a whole separate set of physical problems such as falls. And falls and the results of falls can be absolute they can absolutely change the trajectory of aging and longevity. I can't tell you how many patients I had that got a hip fracture, and that started a decline, because what happens? They can't walk as well. Now they can't exercise like they used to, and this sets up a whole cycle of problems. So we want to maintain our muscle mass, and heart rate zone 2 training helps us to do that. Okay, so secret number 3, or the bonus secret, we can give our mitochondria, our muscle mass, our heart, our metabolism, nutritional completeness. And how do we do that? My framework is the 5 steps to nutritional completeness. Step number 1, avoid the bad foods. Now, what foods are bad, quote unquote? Foods that cause inflammation. And that's the one thing we want to avoid, is chronic inflammation. So we want to avoid gluten. We want to avoid, and how do we avoid gluten? We avoid wheat, barley, rye, and oats. Even quote unquote gluten-free oats. I did a whole video on that. Uh, we want to avoid oils because unless you have an olive tree in your backyard and you can just squeeze it out right then, as soon as the oils, the fruits or the nuts, not nuts, the fruits, well, some nuts, or the seeds are cracked and crushed to release the oil, they're exposed to oxygen. And when they're exposed to oxygen, they start to oxidate, they start becoming rancid, they start making trans fats, and trans fats are no bueno because they cause inflammation and sometimes um, cancer. Can I say that word? I don't know if I can say that word. Okay. Extreme problems with inflammation and immunity. Okay. So we want to avoid the oils, we want to avoid uh, processed foods, GMOs, and processed sugar in particular. All right, so avoid the bad foods. So what can you eat? Here's a quick rule of thumb: protein and produce. You can't go wrong. Step two, there are 90 nutrients that our bodies need every day. If you're on the planet and you're breathing, you need the 90 essential nutrients. Now, does that mean you need 90 bottles on your counter to get each nutrient? No, we have a very convenient way of getting those nutrients to you, and I love it. All right, step three, we've mentioned inflammation. I think we've mentioned stress, maybe oxidative stress, or even mental stress, anxiety, overwhelm, electromagnetic overwhelm, pollution, toxins. Our bodies were meant to deal with stressful situations, but we're just in our modern world, we're just inundated with things that cause oxidative stress, inflammation, and we have to give our bodies a little help in this area. So make sure in the regimen we have antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, adaptogens, etc. Step four, digestive health. It's been said you are what you eat. This is not true. You are what you absorb. And in order to absorb the good nutrients that you're taking in, whether you're getting a little bit from the food or whether you're taking a great nutritional program of supplements, you still have to absorb it. And so that's very much dependent on your gut lining, your gut microbiome, your liver. There's so many factors in getting that goodness from what you took into your mouth into your bloodstream and then into your cells where it's needed. So we have to take care of the gut. Step number five, I call wellness wonderland. That's all the different strategies and all the different vitamins and minerals and um, complexes that are available to us. And isn't it great that we have so many things available? But what if you're not getting all of the previous four steps taken care of? You're not going to get the most out of them. And sometimes they can cause problems because of unbalanced nutrients. So we get steps 1 through 4 together first. Then you can go to step 5. Your vitamin this, your vitamin that, etc. Okay, so here's one of the amazing, wonderful ways that we have found to get those 90 essential nutrients. And that is our latest formula, the Complete Nutrition AMPM with 3.0. That's my nickname for it. We really call it Rise and Restore. And that is because it's a two-part system. There's some nutrients that give you a lot of energy, right? And they're great to take in the morning, but not so good to take in the afternoon or the evening. There's some nutrients that calm you down and that can really prepare your body for rest or for relaxation or re- repair after we've done all these workouts, right? And those are great to take in the afternoon or evening, but maybe you don't want to take them first thing in the morning. So, what we've done is split out those components where you're getting the right nutrients, the right dose, the right time of day, and it's in a convenient and delicious form. All right, so just a little reminder that we're talking about the 5 M's of total transformation. And with whether your health goals are losing weight or just getting toned up, getting healthy, longevity, um, performance, these 5 M's will help you. And now, and we have ways to individualize the program to your health goals. All right. And one of those ways is choosing the zones that you exercise in. And I didn't tell you this. So the amount, how much do you want to be in heart rate training and heart rate zone 2? The research says 150 minutes a week will make a difference. So that means, um, let's say 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Here's the beauty. You can break that 30 minutes up into two 15-minute segments, for instance. The accumulation counts. Now um, that's for one type of goal of health goal, and that is our general overall health and longevity. For weight loss specifically, you would want to spend a little more time every day in those blocks because we have to do something special in order to start burning fat. And so we have to spend a little more time on the treadmill, a little more time to get the glycogen out of our muscles and our liver and let us start burning fat. Um, Again, if you're performance oriented, then you want the high intensity bursts. And so we personalize the nutrition. We also personalize the motion to get the benefits that you want to get out of your health goals. All right, so I'm so excited. The winter's almost over. So this was number 10. Now there is a change because today, February 15th, we talked about heart rate zones. Next week, we are not going to have a call. So we're going to have to wait on learning the high-tech ways to track our health journey. And in March, we're starting a new branding, and we're going to call it, should I tell you now, or should I just let it be a mystery? Maybe I'll tell you now. Okay. So in March, I gave you a clue, right? On this picture, there was a clue. We're going to be calling this the Total Transformation Secrets live webinar or live Zoom. So Total Transformation will be going all year long. There's going to be a new link for the Total Transformation Zoom room, and I will let you all know what that is. I'm going to change the link actually, and it's ready to go. It's right, but after this call, I will let everyone know what the new link is. So don't let winter take you down. We just have a couple more weeks of it. I don't care what the groundhog says. I'm counting winter. Counting winter being over at the end of February. So March 1st is actually meteorological spring. Yeah, there's a definition of spring that starts March 1st. Astronomical spring doesn't, or astronomical, astra something. Spring doesn't count until uh, March 21st, something like that. But March 1st, spring starts for me. So, but right now, we are creating habits, nutrients, and mindfulness to stay vibrant and healthy no matter how chilly it gets outside. So I promised you a bonus at the end, and I do have a winter wellness bonus for you. If you scan this code, or if you go to the link on the code, um, which is drlisasingletary.online/winter hyphen secrets hyphen one hyphen replay. So winter secrets one replay. You will get the holiday feast guide, which is really good all year round. It's got some great tips and strategies. You will get the replay of webinars 1 through 6. You'll get an invitation to the series. I'm going to change. I have to change the link in that. I will change it right after this call. You'll get the free health surveys. Many of you already have that. And the link for the Complete Nutrition 3.0 and more. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. Now I'm working on something. I'm working on a toolkit from our Carbs Decoded webinar. A lot of people had some questions about carbs, especially the glycemic index. And so I'm putting this kit together. It's almost ready, but it's not too late to let me know what requests you might have. In fact, Sarita gave me a request last week to put in something about alternatives to sugar. So I'm going to include that in the kit, and it's going to be great. So thank you all. I'm going to stop the share. And I see there's one comment in the chat. Oh, thank you, Yolanda. Every time I listen to Dr. Singletary, I learn something new, or I'm reminded of what I should be doing and what I am doing correctly. I know you probably just got off that treadmill, so I know you're walking your walk, talking your talk, running your walk, and we haven't talked about your lifting if you're doing strength training, but I imagine you are. I'm just guessing that you're doing it all right. So thank you, Yolanda. Thank you for being such a value to all of us, and both in your example, your leadership. Yep, she's on her treadmill now, weights 1 to 2 times a week. Whoop, 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 whoop. Show us how it's done, Queen Yolanda Brown. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. There's the example. And she looks fabulous. Some people don't turn their cameras on because, they're not camera ready. She's in action. So thank you. Thank you. I love you. I love you all. I'm going to cut the recording now, but don't go if you're here live, because you can ask me questions or give me requests for the. Hope this was valuable to you. Hope you learned something about the secrets of heart rate zone 2 training. Mwah. I love you all.